Hi guys, so today we'll be learning about the how to create a behavior trace in the Unreal Engine. So let's get started. So we'll be learning about the behavior trees and the structure and functionalities, where exactly it is implemented in the Unreal Engine. So at the end of the class, you will be learning more about the summary and the key points. So for example, you have come across this AI enemy characters, right? So they are easily roaming around here, around the gameplay or the game layout. So they have their own thinking ability. So they can take up or they can shoot you. They can roam around. They can attack. So they have their own thinking power. So we'll be learning how to do those things. So how do I create an AI enemy which can attack the player and many more things. So we'll start with the behavior trees. So introduction to behavior trees. So behavior trees and Unreal Engine is a visual way to create an artificial intelligence, that's our AI. So for non-player characters, okay. So it is not controlled by a player controller. So it's a non-player characters. So it's hierarchical structure that models how an AI will make decision in its environment. Behavior trees are event driven, which improves the performance and debugging. So as I was talking before, so it allows the complex agent behavior. So it is easier to debug and it is widely used in the industry as a main thing. And one more important thing is it is easier to understand comparatively from a coding. So not everybody come from a coding background, right? So comparatively understanding the behavior trees are much more easier compared to the coding. Okay, so where exactly does my behavior trees falls under my AI framework in the Unreal Engine? So as you know, Unreal Engine framework usually or the Unreal Engine allows the body, soul and the brain pattern for the AIs. Okay, so what is this body, soul and the brain pattern? So coming to a first thing, that is my body. So body is here it's a visual representation of a character. So what character your AI enemy is using, so whether it's an mixamo character or in general your own customized character. So the body representation, so the physical representation of a character comes under a body. So next is my soul. So soul is being the entity that controls what is controlling at the moment. So here it is controlled by the npc controller. So next is my brain. So what is brain? So brain is where my behavior tree actually stays, or where it is actually located. So what's the function of it? So it's a this is where we are actually defining the behavior of that particular thing. Okay, so what kind of behavior does this particular brain or the behavior tree execute? So that comes under my brain. Okay, so memory is where you store the information, as the name only it's suggesting. So memory is a place where you store the information related or related to your behavior trees. Okay, so we have the task, we have the decorators, we have the blackboards, we have behavior tree controllers and players. So all these things falls under a framework. So as I was talking before, so Unreal Engine follows a body, soul and the brain structure. So what is this body? Body is an physical representation of a character. Soul is nothing but who is controlling that character at the moment. So behavior tree or the brain comes under behavior tree comes under the brain. So it represents the what kind of behavior does that particular character executes at the moment. So memory is a place, or the blackboard is a place where we store the information which are related to your behavior trees. Okay, so coming across the behavior trees overview. Okay, so what are this? So we have compositors, we have decorators, we have tasks, we have services. So compositors, so define the root of a branch and the base rules for how that branch is executed. So we have the root. Okay, so I'm going to show you practically how to do all those things in the later, but I'm just going to define all these things. So compositing composites, so it is going to define the root of a branch, that base rules of or how that branch is being executed. So it's like a starting point. Okay, decorators, also known as the conditional in behavior tree system, so defines whether or not a branch in a tree or even a single node can be executed. So how do you execute a task? Okay, so how do you execute one condition? Okay, those conditions usually comes across your decorators. Okay, services will execute at their defined frequency as long as their branch has been executed. So as long as that one branch has been executed, the services also would be executed depending on their frequencies. So task is nothing but to do, note that do the things. So for example, to detect a player, to attack a player, to shoot a player, so all this individual task, to roam around their scene, so all these are comes under your individual task. Okay, so how does this execution flow actually comes? So here comes our root node. So this is like a starting point where from there all the compositor, sequencer, selector is going to be coming across. So here in the behavior tree, it follows the top to down and left to right function, or the priority list. So our priority or the execution flow goes from top to down and left to right. Okay, so each task would be given a number. So after completing that task, the next number is going, or the next task is going to be executed. So you can see task 1 is a 0, task 2 is 1, task 3 is 2. So from here the number keeps on increasing. So starting with an root node. So as I was talking before, it's an entry point in the behavior tree. So then we have the composite nodes, then we have a decorator nodes and the leaf nodes. Leaf nodes are last execute actions. Okay. So how do you create a behavior trees in the Unreal Engine? So step by step, if I have to speak on the step by step process or the guide. So first thing you have to do is you have to obviously create a behavior tree. Then you have to define what is root node, and you have to start adding a compositing nodes. Then you have to add a leaf actions, or you have to define the AI functions or the actions. Then you have to add an AI controller so that it can inherit the power. So root node detect the player. So how the function actually if I want to give an visualizing AI controller character action. So starting with the root node, so it is going to select. So starts the decision making process of an AI character actions. So sequence. So what is the sequence actually making? So this sequence is going to detect a player, whether in case if the AI enemy is roaming around. So this particular sequence is the point where he can detect a player. So next is my condition. So once if the player is what is this condition? So the player is within the AI line side. So for example, if I am giving a definition of some 600 meters, so the AI can see whether the player is within the particular range or he is out of the range. So whether the player is visible within the range of the AI controller or he is out. So he can know whether the player is within the AI lines of the site or not. So next is action. So in case if that particular character is within the range, so what does your AI character or the AI enemy character should do? So he has to start chasing the player. Okay, so next is like patrol area. So like run movements where no player is detected. So he just, in case if the player is out of his range, he just has to roam around till he detect a player. Okay, so let's get started. So once we get started, so let me go to the content folder. Okay, so yeah, this is just a normal third person template what I have started. So let me start by adding a new folder here and calling it as AI. Okay, so inside this AI folder, so first thing you have to do is, so what is going to control the AI? So we have to go to our AI. So we have a section here in the artificial intelligence. Okay, so we have to go there. Maybe I can start with my blueprint class. in the all classes, let me start with an AI controller first, because AI controller is the one which is going to control your entire AI behaviors or the entire AI's actions, right? So let me start with the AI controller first. So in order to go to the controller, let me start again. So you have to just go to the blueprint class. In the all classes, you have to search for AI controller. AI controller. So select. So let me name it as enemy underscore AI controller. Okay. So next is my character, enemy AI. Okay. So what I have started with the AI controller, and I had also started with the enemy AI. So double click on the enemy AI for now. So as you can see, my enemy AI has been opened right now. So right now I don't have a skeletal mesh. So let me add a skeletal mesh. For now I'll select SK mannequin. Where is my SK mannequin? Okay. Maybe I'll select SKM mannequin. So easier one. So as I had selected my characters, so kindly do a bit of rotation. So location Z 90 minus 90 over here to, okay. So right now he is facing it properly. So now you have to go and select, it's already been selected. So you have to select an AI enemy blueprint and just get down. So here you would be having AI controller class. So just search for your AI controller class. So here we have our AI controller class. So here I would be selecting the enemy AI controller which just now we had created. Okay, because this particular character would be controlled by this particular enemy AI controller. Okay, so compile, save. So now let's start by creating a behavior tree. Artificial intelligence behavior tree, enemy underscore behavior tree. Okay, so this is where our this is what our behavior tree looks like. The enemy, we have the panel over here. So we have the behavior tree panel, we have a blackboard panel. Just right now it is disabled because right now I don't have any blackboard created. So we have a details panel, and we have the things which are been assigned to a blackboard under your blackboard panel. Okay, so this is where I'm going to add all the tasks and the decorators and many more things. Okay, so for time being I'm just going to keep it under the sequence. Okay, so what are the sequence and what are, so if I select here, you can come across selector and the sequencer. So we have two things over here, the selectors and the sequencer. Okay, so right now I'm just going to keep it under the sequence. So what are this sequence and what are this selector? Okay, so um if I have to simplify it in a very easier way, okay. So sequence is nothing but, so for example, as I was talking before, this behavior trees follows a top to down and left to right execution flow, right? So while executing any one of the task or any one of the function, So we have two things. One is my sequence and one is my selector. So sequence is nothing but it executes every child in order until one of them fails. Okay. I hope you're understanding this. So sequence is nothing but if it is going to execute all the task or all the child till one of them fails. But when it comes to the selector, it finds and executes the first successful child or the first successful task. Okay. If okay, I think I'll leave it for here. So as I go proceeding with this, I think you will be understanding. Okay, so with this sequence, I can add one simplified task, that is my move to. And once the character starts moving or once the move to has been executed, I can add one more simply a simple task like wait. So what is happening here? So in this sequence, so what is happening, so it is executing all the successful child till one of them fails. So for example, if this one is being, both of them are being successful. Okay, so the AI character or the AI enemy is going to move to a particular thing. So then once it move to that particular location, so they then it has to wait for some 5 seconds. Then again it has to execute this particular move to task. Okay, so for in case if I'm having any extra added task, okay, so then it will follow that particular task in between. Then it has to go to the wait tool. Okay, so now let's create our blackboard. So we can create our blackboard here itself, or you can just right click and under the artificial intelligence you can just create a new blackboard from your panel. So I'm just going to start and create a new blackboard from the behavior tree panel itself. So new blackboard, and this blackboard I'm going to call it as my enemy um, Blackboard BD. Okay. So now as you can see, my Blackboard panel has been opened. Okay. So now if I click here, I can create a new case and I can add a new particular extra like keys to the Blackboard. So for example, I can add a vector key over here. Okay. I'm going to name it as location. Save. So now if I select this particular move to, so Blackboard key I can keep it for location. Okay, so here it means that it is going to move to a location. So it's not the self key. So as I've selected a location, so it start going to a location. Okay, and you can always change your wait time in between and things like that. Okay. So now I'm going to create a new service. So what does our service does? So it's creating a base class for everything. So for example, we have to move to a location. So then we have to add a particular ability for that. So if I create a new service, so as you can see here, new service has been added over here. It means that BT service blueprint base. So I'm just going to rename it as BT service random location. So this is the service time. So here we have the functions. So first function I would be adding is receive activation, where it is event receive activation here. So here it is. Okay. So from controller pawn I have to get actor location, get random reachable points in the location. So I'm going to give the radius around 900 or 500. Okay. I'll add a new variable and I'll call it as Blackboard key. Okay, so right now what we have done, we had created a event receive activation. From there I have taken a controller pawn. Okay, so from that I have just added an get actor location, so get random reachable points. Okay, so from random reachable points I had also added an variable. So this variable I had named it as Blackboard key, and the variable type I had kept it as the Blackboard key selector. And I can also add the instance editable, so I can edit in the later part. Okay, so if I take this get Blackboard key over here, okay, so from here I'm going to search for set value as vector. Okay, so this random location I'm going to add it over here, and execution pen from here to here. So what is this making? So this is going to generate a random location of the 500 unit radius. Okay, using our Blackboard keys. You can compile and you can start saving it. So now I'm going back to my Blackboard, and here I'm just going to add a service. So right now what service we have added? So just now we had added a service, right? I mean we had created a service, right? That is my BT service random location. So that is what I'm going to add it over here. Okay, so I just added a BT service random location over here. Slow show priority details self so yeah, one more thing. So here in the Blackboard key, instead of selecting a self actor, right now I have to choose a location. Okay, because we had created a particular Blackboard key naming it as location, so I have to select that particular thing in order to move to a random location. Okay, so what we have done so far, we had created a root node. So from the root node I had created a sequence. So from the sequence I had added a task, that is my move to and wait for 5 seconds. So in the move to I had added a new service. So that service we call it as BT service random location. So from the random location receive activation AI. So I from the controller pawn I have taken the get actor location. So from there I have added a get random reachable points. So we had added a 500 units of radius, and we had also added a Blackboard key. Okay, I hope till here you guys are understanding. Okay, so now this particular AI is going to move to this particular location. So it is going to, after executing this task, it is going to wait for around 5 seconds. Then it is going to come back to this particular one more time to move to and random locations. Okay. So let me add these things over here itself. So now my thing is, I would be going to my controller, event graph. Okay, so once my event begin play starts, I have to search for run behavior tree. So this particular thing you can actually do it in a very first before after creating a behavior tree also, or you can just add it in the at the last point itself. Okay, so we don't have any particular thing like I have to create a run behavior tree at the first initial point itself, because some people will start by adding a run behavior tree at the initial stage. Then some people would like to add it in between or at the end of the task before you run a enemy character or you add it into your gameplay. So you just can add it whenever you need, but you have make sure you add it. Okay. So your enemy can run your, or the enemy AI controller can run your behavior tree. So I can just add my enemy AI over here. So one main important things you have to add before running or executing anything related to your AI. If you want your AI enemy to move around or anything in that particular uh, function or the task, one thing you have to make sure to add is under the volumes, you have to add your namish bound volume. Okay. So once you add it over here, let me go to my details panel. So if you press the P button, you can see where exactly that green color thing is there, right? So this green color represents the area where your AI can move around. So you are giving the ability for an AI character to move around in the random location, or sorry, not the random location, to a particular assigned area where your AI can move around. So you can define your location over here. So I'm going to scale it around 25. Okay. So if I add around 25, I think it is going to cover my entire that third person template. So I would be liking to add the scale around 25, but again this does not have to be the 25 itself, because it depends on your layout. So where you want your AI enemy to move around, so you can just scale it according to that. So right now as I'm just showing a demo, so I just kept it around 25. Okay, so now if I play this, so this is my third person character and the front one is my AI enemy. So you can see that it is going to wait for 5 seconds before moving to a random location. So I hope you're getting a hang on what we are trying to do in the behavior tree at this particular point. So you can see that my AI enemy character is going to move around in a random location, and it is going to wait for 5 seconds before it changes its location. Okay, so coming back, you can just press P to save. So let me save this. So whenever you can press P, you can see the visibility, or you can enable the visibility of your Namish, and once you press your P again, you can just disable the visibility of your Namish. Okay, so let me go to my AI controller one more time. So we can start adding the your AI character or the AI enemy a bit of your senses. So I would like to add your I would like to add um, AI perspection. So this is going to help um, as you can see over here, it is going to help the AI in sensing the damage, hearing ability, the production, the site, so the team touch. So we have lot of dominant sensing. So with the help of my AI perspection, I'm actually trying to add the um, sensing, the ability of your AI to sense, to hear, to move, to take the damage or the to team, many more. Okay, so here what are we trying to add? Here we are trying to add a dominant sense. So right now what I need, I want the dominant sense of sight. Okay, so yeah, sight sensing I just added. Okay, so compile, save. Okay. Okay, I think it's instead of adding into my census configuration, I just added directly to my dominate sense. So I was wondering why I'm not having that details panel of how much to add the distance and many more things. So yeah, my bad. So here is where what you have to do. So you have to start with the census configuration. So I'm going to add an element. What is that element? So site configuration. Okay, so in that I would be having a sense. So here you can see the site radius. So long site radius and the peripheral vision, so auto success and many more things. So this one where you can actually start your mm, maybe adding a site radius, or you can play around this particular area. Okay, so I'll just keep the site radius of 3k and the loose site radius of 3.5k and my peripheral vision around 45 degree for now. Okay, so what I can do, I can just detect the enemies and I can also detect the neutrals. Okay, so in case if I'm having any dummy characters over here. So now if I compile, save, so if I start playing, okay, okay, where did my, think I had accidentally deleted my play area. Okay. So if I press my apostrophe key, you can see that it is under my debug camera. Okay. So you can see how the controller, their distance. Okay. So that would be it. So here in our show thing, so you can go and check what and all you can show, Namish, hide. Okay. So if I enable my AI debug, so it also shows my whenever I play this. So right now it is not showing, but you can just check or explore the rest of the options over here. So text, image, and a lot of other options you would be having, so you can just check around. So depth of your layers and the local exposures and many more things. Okay, let's not go off topic. I think I was just going to show you the other option in the show option, so let's not jump over here. So let's come back to our behavior tree over here. So in our Blackboard, let's create one more key. Okay, I'm going to select the object over here and I'm going to name it as my enemy. So in the enemy, in the key types, it is object. So base class I'm going to select, actor, I'm going to save it. Okay, so let me just delete this service. So I'm just going to, from location, I'm going to keep it to my enemy. Okay, and I'm going to add as rotate to face PP entry, so it can just face towards the enemy. So let me save this, compile. So now if I go to the AI controller, AI perspection, so under the events over here, I can add a AI perspection updated. So from here I can search for each loop. So whatever character you are using inside your game, you can just call that. So right now I'm using the third person character, so I'm just going to cast it to my third person character. Connect the execution pins. So now what you're gonna do is right click, get Blackboard, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to search for make literal name. So this is a kind of very crucial point here. So the thing is, you have to make sure, so whatever the particular naming you had given here in your blackboards, okay, so the naming pattern should not change, whether it's alphabetic sensitive, case sensitive. So make sure you just copy paste or make no mistakes over the naming pattern. Okay, so I'm just simply going to copy it. I'm just going to my make literal name and I'm going to paste it over here. So from here I'm going to search for set value as object. Okay, so key name, I'm just going to add it to my key name. Execution pane from my third person. Okay, so my third person character as my object type. So what it's basically doing is it's going to just take it as my third person character as my enemy in my behavior trees. Okay, so we are basically making my third person character as an enemy to my enemy character. So now if I play, so you can see right now my enemy character is actually detecting me and it's actually moving towards me also. It's actually rotating wherever I'm rotating, however I'm rotating, and it's okay. So till now what we have done, so right now my AI enemy character can actually detect the third person character and it is actually chasing it while rotating, while changing its direction towards the third person character. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going back to my um, behavior tree over here and I'm going to create a new task. Okay, create a new task and I'm just going to rename it as pt task underscore attack. Okay, so why? Because my entire agenda was for my AI character to come detect the third person character and to randomly move around the point. So these both are actually working right now. So next is to attack. So that particular task, I'm just going to add it over here right now. Okay, so in my behavior tree right now, so we just came across the services, how the services are working, so how the blackboards are working. So right now we are shifting for the task, how the tasks are going to be assigned. So now here we have the task over here, so we just created a new task and that we renamed it as bt task underscore attack. So right now my AI enemy characters are there, right? So those particular character has to attack my third person character. Okay, I hope till here you are understanding. So now right click, or from here only I can just take on event execute AI, event receive execute AI. So from here, so my first thing is who is controlling this pawn. So this I mean the pawn has been controlled. Pawn is my basically my enemy blueprint. So where is that? You have to search it. So cas to enemy AI. Okay. So for now, I'm not going to do anything. Just to make sure whether it's working or not. simple thing what we usually do to check if the task is executing it fine or not. So you have to just create a print screen. So I just created a print screen. Maybe I'll change it to attack. Okay. So I have to add one important thing is finish execute. So in case if this particular task is successfully finished, so you have to add a finish execute. If this particular task is not successfully finished, you have to just unsuccess it. Okay. So the new task has been added. I know, I mean, this is just to check whether this particular attack thing is working or not. So that's the reason we just added a print screen for now. Okay, so now if I get back to my behavior tree, so from so my first task is move to. So then after moving, it has to rotate and face the my third person thing. That is my rotate to face BP entry. So from here, next task I have to add, that is my BT task attack. So you can see whatever the task you would be created so far, it would be also would be under the task functions, or you can just simply search for BT task. So right now I'm going to search for BT task attack, and I just added a new task. So now you can see the execution flow. So first is my move to, second is my rotate to face PP entry, and my third is my attack, BT task attack. Okay, so you can see the execution flow numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So my third execution thing is my BT task attack. So after this, I'll just wait for, maybe I'm going to reduce the number for 2 seconds. Okay, so right now what is happening, my the flow of my execution would be, so sequence. So first he has to move, so then he has to rotate and face the character, then he has to attack. So wait for 2 seconds, then come back to the first thing, and again 1, 2, 3, 4. So the repetition of the task is going to follow, because I had kept it under the sequence. Why sequence? Because it is going to uh, execute all childs till one of the child fails. So right now, as my all the child task or the things are going to be performed without any difficulties, so it is going to repeat this task on a circle manner. Okay. So in case if I would have kept it under a selector, so first thing, so if the first child, so if the move to was successful, it used to not jump for the second task. So right now, as it is under the sequence, so it will jump from one task to another till one of the child actors fail. Okay. So let me go to my third person map, play it. You can see there, right? The attack. You can see on my screen the attack thing is actually coming. So what is happening, my AI enemy character is following, and it's actually facing towards the character, and whenever it comes, it's wait for 2 seconds. So whenever it again comes near, so you can see that attack print screen is actually getting printed. So it means that my task is actually being executed successful. So it is going to come, it is going to rotate towards the character, it is going to wait for 2 seconds, then again the same task has been executed. Okay. So now we are just going to little bit upgrade your behavior tree. So now let me add a selector. So from the selector, I'll add the sequence. So from this selector, let me push this upward side. So from this selector, let me add one more move to, or before move to, let me add one more sequence. So from this sequence, I'll add a new task, that is my move to. Okay, I'll add it to my location. Okay, I can add a service, that service which previously we had created, that is my BT service random location. So I can keep it under the location just like how we have done in the previously. So from the sequence I can just add, wait 1 second. So let's keep it for around 2 or 3 seconds. Let me keep it for 2 seconds. So it is going to execute from left to right. So as you can see, so first from left, that is my first task in the sequence number one. So it has to move to, it has to rotate to the enemy, it has to attack, it has to wait. So after waiting, now it is going to jump to our second sequence, that is my move to random location. So again after move to random location, the service has to be I mean the after adding the service, it has to go to the random location, then it would be wait for 2 seconds, then again come back to my original first task. So the execution flow is going to continue from top to down and left to right. So from the first sequence it is going to complete the entire first sequence first, then it is going to jump to the second sequence. So once the completion of the second sequence, it is going to wait for 2 seconds, then come back to my original sequence number one. Okay, so it is going to attack. Let me show you something. Maybe I'll increase the wait time around 10 second. Play. So right now you can see it is not attacking me right now because it is waiting for 7 minutes. Sorry, not 7 minutes, 7 seconds. My bad. Okay, that's what I wanted to show. So now coming back to my behavior tree. So for this particular sequence, I can start um, adding a Blackboard based conditions. Okay, so how do you add that? So right click. Okay, you can start. See, right now we just came across the blackboard. In the behavior tree we came across Blackboard, new task, decorator, new services. Sorry, decorator has not been added so far. Just now we'll add that one, but we came across the Blackboard, the task and the services. So let's go to the decorator right now. So what are these decorators? So these are the blueprint based classes where it is going to follow the direct conditions from the Blackboard. Okay, so I can select a sequence, right click, add decorator, Blackboard. Okay, so this node I'm going to name it as can see enemy. Okay, so I just added a new decorator from my Blackboard, so that is my can see enemy. So for the Blackboard key, make sure it is under the enemy. Okay, so what we have done, so we are making sure we are adding a condition. So what is my condition? So our condition is enemy is on set. So if the enemy is particularly set, then only this below executions task are there, right? So they are going to be followed, or else they are directly jumping to the sequence number 2. Okay, so what is happening, we just added a condition if the enemy uh, can be seen. So if you detect an enemy, then only this next move to rotate to face enemy, pt attack or wait, all these particular functions would be executed, or else it is directly, if you did not detect an enemy, if you did not see an enemy, it is going to jump to the sequence number 2. Okay, so we can also add an uh, one more condition over here. So in to make sure that other task are to make sure other tasks should not run, in case if you did not see a enemy, you can add a notify observer. Okay, so if I keep it my observer aborts none, it going to follow the same four thing. So I mean, sorry, what I'm talking about. So here, if I keep it under myself, so you can see a slight change in my color. Okay, so it has changed to green. So what is this? It means that if this particular condition is there, right? So so if the enemy is valid, if you can see the enemy, then only this particular below task are going to run. If not, they are not going to be running. Okay. So if I keep it to the lower priority, it means that um, if the enemy is invalid, okay, if the enemy, if you did not see an enemy over here, if it is invalid, then it is going to jump to the next execution sequence. Okay, so I'm going, okay, why I have kept under the lower priority, it also means that it basically stops if the enemy is um, valid. Okay, sorry, invalid. So it is going to stop when the enemy is set. So if I keep it to both, both are given the importance to be taken care of. So basically whatever the value it changes, or here it is going to update in the both the sequence if I keep it under the both. Okay, so now if I play it, so it is going to attack. So both the tasks are being executed according to my conditions. So it is going to chase us smoothly and nicely over here. Okay, so that would be set. So If I get back to my content, characters, mannequins, animations. So we have our PPP Manny. Okay. So I just don't want my AI enemy to just float around the level. So I just want that particular character to run, walk, and many more things. So that's what I'm trying to do over here. So I just want to add a animation for that my AI enemy. Okay. So right click, animation, legacy, blend space 1D. So where is my SK mannequin is over here. So I'm going to name it as enemy blend space underscore 1D. So I just open my blend space. So first thing is my idle. Drag and drop your idle. Okay. So run forward. So you can just name it as speed over here. So if I want to smooth out a bit of your animation, there is something called as where it is weights weight speed. Okay, here I'm going to add the weight speed around 4. So it is going to just make the transition between one from one animation sequence to another animation sequence a bit more smooth. Okay. So coming back, content drawer, I have my enemy BS1D. So you can create all these things inside your AI folder just now what you had created, or you can just keep it over here also, and you can call this particular animation sequence later. It's fine to keep wherever you want, but if you keep it in the more organized way, it would look more better in understanding, in making, in all the other process. Okay. So now, so let's go and create the animation blueprint. I can create inside my mani also, or I'll just keep it outside so it would be more easier way. So I can just go to the animation blueprint. So select your SK mannequin, create and name it as or I'll name it as animation blueprint underscore enemy. Double click, open your app enemy. Okay. So I hope this part you are well through it. So I have been through many of the classes with the animation blueprint. So I don't want to drag telling where, what is details, what is preview, assert, root motion, and many more things. So I'm just going to start it. So for the output pose, I'm going to start with the state machine. So kindly add your state machine. Okay. I'm going to name it as enemy connected. Okay. Double click. So kindly add your enemy blend space 1D. Okay. You can see how the character started changing. So control the value of our enemy blend space. I can just create a promote to variable, name it as speed, and kindly go to your event graph. So first thing is obviously you have to check whether is valid or not. So kindly add your is valid. So if it is valid, then only our next speed or whatever variable you are adding for animation blueprint has to be executed. Okay. So from my get pawn owner, I have to add my or search for get velocity. So why velocity? Because we are adding a speed. So from return value get vector length. Where is my vector length? So this because we are actually changing our variable type from vector to a float. So kindly set it. So hold your alt for setting it. So I just connect it and compile. So now if I go to my AI folder, where is my AI enemy? This is my controller. Okay, I think I'll just close all these things and get back to my AI, enemy AI. So under my use animation blueprint, anim class, where did I app enemy? Compile, save. So now you can see the change over here. So now you can change, actually you can just hold your character movement. So under your character movement there would be walkable floor angle, maximum height and friction, and the crowd speed and the walk speed, the run speed. So you can just change it if you want it to be changing. So if you want to increase the speed, you can increase. Maybe I'll just keep it for 500 for now. Sorry, not 500. Okay. So if you want it to be smoothly rotating, search for rotation. Where is my rotation? Yeah, here it is. Just enable your orient rotation to movement. So under your enemy AI, so just uncheck use controller rotation yaw because we want to rotate according to the orientation, and that is more smoother way to rotate the character compared to the yaw. So these are the small changes what you have to make to your AI enemy character. So now you can just delete this. So I can just delete it because I just kept it to rotate to orient. So you just don't need again the extra task to be added because obviously that character is going to rotate. So now if I play, so now you can see the AI enemy character is actually running in a more smoother way, and it is going to wait for 2 seconds before running again. If you feel the speed is bit more, you can actually reduce that speed in my enemy. So I just kept it around 500 here in the character movement. So you can reduce that acceleration and walk speed. Oh shit. So instead of 500, it has become 50,000. So I was wondering why it is running a bit in a unexplainable speed. So I guess instead of 500 it kept it to 50,000. So now why it is taking like this? 500 compile or keep around 400. Save. So let me just check one more time. Okay, I think now the AI enemy is running more smoother way, and even my attack thing is also displaying. So right now my next task is instead of just displaying the attack name, I just want my character to attack. Okay. So for that thing, you can just go to the content drawer, content, wherever you have placed your AI enemy, or you can just download few of the animation from your Mixamo or anything. So right now I just downloaded one of the animation from the Mixamo. Okay. AVP enemy. I can just add a default slot. So usually it helps in playing the animation montages. So now if you just go back to our AI, so wherever we had created that attack, right? So instead of print screen, I'll just keep it to play anim montage. Target is my enemy AI. Anim montage right now I don't have. Let me quickly download it. select your SK mannequin, import. So we have the zombie attack right now. So I can select, why I can't select here? Create an montage out of that. So I just created. So now I can select a zombie attack. So let me just play and check. You can see it, right? So right now it is attacking me. So let me quickly make one last change, that is my enemy AI. And where is my collision? Collision presets, make it to custom, collision enabled, and kindly ignore the camera. Okay, compile, save. So if I play right now, okay, so my character is running, he's actually chasing the third person. So once he detects, he's going to attack. Okay, so he's going to attack me. So he's going to wait for 2 seconds. One, you can do it for the mesh also here, the collision thing. Okay, I think for mesh it has already been taken. So yeah. So my character can detect the player. So he's running towards the player. So once the player is detected, he's going to attack. Okay, guys. So we have completed our today's task in understanding the or how to add a behavior tree and how to add a custom tasks, decorators, services, Blackboard. So you can see right now we just added our Blackboard as a decorator, services, and the um, task, everything has been added. So first, what is our thing? So what we have done, so we started by creating a AI folder. So we just added our AI controller, first thing to do. So after adding a AI controller, we just added a AI enemy character. So after adding an enemy character, we just added a Blackboard and the so not the Blackboard, we started with the behavior tree. So from the behavior tree we just added a Blackboard. So from the Blackboard we just added a new service, that is to move to a random location. Then in the Blackboard we just added two new keys, that is my location and the object type as my enemy. So here we just added a new task, that is to bt attack. So what is happening, so if the player can see a enemy, he is going to move towards the enemy and he is going to attack. If he is not seeing the enemy, then he is just going to move around a random location. So that's the entire agenda of creating a behavior tree. So I hope you got everything in the today's session. So any more doubts, you can just ping me or just ask me around. the next class. Okay, so I hope our today's session is um, knowledgeable. So I hope you can just practice it more and you would be getting it in. You just have to practice more to understand the behavior tree, and you can start adding your own custom task, and you can start exploring more about the blackboards and the custom tasks. Yeah, enemy abilities, not just attacking, maybe or shooting or the projectiles and many more things. So for now, this is it. So I hope you have a good day and thank you guys.